Greetings, YouTubians, and welcome back to Wayne's Sharp World, where today it is time to find out if Kansept can stay hot to start 2024, because what we have here is one of the first new releases in 2024 for Kansept, and what we are talking about here is none other than the Kansept Weim. Now, before I go any further into this review, I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in. If you like what you see, do me a huge favor, hit that subscribe button, follow along, and I will continue to bring you the content. Now, let's take a look at some overall specs on this knife right here. We have an overall length coming in at 7.55 inches with a blade length of 3.28 inches and a blade thickness at 126 thousandths. Blade material on this guy, S35VN. Always love to see that with a sheep's foot style blade, a flat grind, and a handle length coming in at 4.27 inches. Handle material on this guy is titanium and carbon fiber done in a little different way, which we'll talk about later in the review. We have a frame lock for the locking mechanism and a user of a right hand only tip-up carry, a weight coming in at 3.7 ounces, designed by Mr. Jonathan Stiles, who continues to grow in the knife design game, continues to impress, and I am really digging this design as well. But there are some issues that we'll talk about in this review. We have a price coming in at $184.80, which, again, for the materials, for the overall fit and finish and smoothness, it's hard to have too many issues with it. Like I said, I do have a couple gripes, but yeah, it's another very nice finish on this knife for Kansept. No blemishes, no scratches or issues with it anywhere. Blade centering is perfecto. There's a lot of really good things about this knife. But a couple things that I do want to point out. I feel like I really could do a Nick Shabazz style review on this one with all the good, the bad, and there is a little ugly. But I'm not going to do that. I would never do that. I'm not going to steal Nick's thunder. But I will tell you all you guys what I think about it right now after some size comparisons. Let's stack it up to some other knives and just see what we have here in terms of length. Let's see here. We have one from Civivi. Here's the Civivi Sikoke. I think a lot of people can relate to this. And it's a very nice size comparison to the Sikoke, as well as this guy from Kaiser here, the Kaiser Original XL. Another really good comparison, and just overall length, thickness, width, all that good stuff. So yeah, if you like these two knives, pretty good chance you'll like this one. I really am digging it. There's some really fresh things on it that I like. And one more here for a comparison. This is another Jonathan Stiles design, and it was one of my favorite designs from all of 2023, the Kaiser Milita. It is a slightly bigger knife, and when I say bigger, I really just mean longer, just a little longer. But I definitely see the similarities in design language from each of Jonathan's designs from one to another, and I really dig it. I really like it. I think it's a little fresh burst of design language that we haven't seen. So I really like that a lot. Blade on this guy. I honestly think this blade shape is probably my favorite thing about this knife. There's a couple other things about the handle I really like, but this blade shape, I'm really, really digging this blade shape. I love the longer sheep's foot blades. And this one here, kind of like right there, I really get those Microtech MSI vibes, which I love me a Microtech MSI. So really like seeing that. Nice edge reading at 18 thousandths. So yeah, nice and extremely sharp. We don't have jimping back here, but I gotta be honest, for this one, the way the knife just sits in my hand, I'm not really missing it. I feel like jimping is always nice to have, but it's not something that I would be like too bent out of shape about with this particular design, just based on the rest of the ergonomic features it comes with. The issue I have with this blade are these thumb studs right here. So as you can see, if you're looking at them here, we got kind of more of a pyramid top. There is a little bit of a base at the top, but it's also kind of not pointed, but rounded off. So it kind of feels like a Chris Reeve thumb stud, if anyone has ever handled one of those, but definitely has more of the pyramid top and not so much the flat base like you have on this knife right here. I'm going to use this as an example because I think this is a perfect example of all the issue that I have with this. So if you look at, this is the Kaiser Task, by the way. So if you look here, you see more of a base. You see less pyramiding at top. The jimping and everything is more towards the top of the thumb stud, which gives a little more of a grippier top of the thumb stud. So when you have thumb studs like either one of these knives to where the thumb stud is relatively close to the handle. Now, I'll say this one looks like it would be hard to deploy because it's so close to the handle, but I have more, it took me longer to get comfortable with these thumb studs than the Task. The Task was, it was very natural, just very easy to kick it out. As to where with this Weim, I did a lot of this at first. And a lot of that has to do not so much with the distance or closeness to the handle, but more so just that slightly more pyramid style top of thumb stud. Because the thumb stud doesn't really come too far over the handle in terms of height. Like, it's pretty flush with the handle. You do get down there a little, but when your thumb's pushing on it, you're more just pushing towards the pyramided top, which can allow your finger to slide off. Now, what you need to do is just think a little more, be a little more aware when you're going to deploy this blade, kind of push your thumb in there, and then it's pretty easy. But again, I don't like having to think that hard when I need to just, flick my blade out with thumb studs. I feel like I shouldn't have to put that extra bit of thought. It should be rather intuitive and just very simple, like the Kaiser Task. So that is the one thing that I would definitely change on this knife, is either a different type of thumb stud. Really, just like if you took these thumb studs off the Kaiser Task and put them on this Weim, it would be like night and day difference, a lot better. Or another thing you could do, which I don't think is done enough in the knife industry right now, is just take the thumb studs off and put on a thumb disc. Because the thumb disc, it's going to, one, make the distance of what you're trying to deploy, it's going to bring it a little farther away from the handle, so it's going to give you a little more room. The way the disc would be shaped, that circular area there, be a nice, easy, big area to kick the blade out. And it would also make it a lot easier to middle finger flick, which you can still middle finger flick this. But again, this knife took me a few days to really get comfortable with. And there's not many knives that take that long for me to get comfortable with. And it's just because the slight challenges with the odd ending shape of the thumb stud. So yeah, either different thumb studs or a thumb disc, I think would really, really, really improve this area right here. Going into the handle, it does have some very nice ergos. I think it sits really well in my hand. And like I said, even without the jimping, I'm not really missing it because this area down here locks into my hand very well. Love this index area. And then this slight little curve here towards the bottom of the handle, it falls and sits very, very nice in my hand, very naturally, very comfortable. The one thing that I'm not a big fan of is this clip. Now, I like the looks of the clip. I think the design looks great and works well with the knife, but the problem is it's a longer clip, and it's not even so much the length that I don't like, but because that clip is so long, it's riding out and it's getting closer to the end of the handle, this point here is rather noticeable. Now, I'm not going to say it's a hot spot, but I think for some people it would definitely be a hot spot. It's not for me, but I do feel it. So what I would have really liked to have seen done here, and again, just personal preference, no disrespect here to anybody or anyone involved with the project, but I think it would look better and feel better if if the whole clip just kind of ended along the transition line of the carbon fiber to the titanium, just end the clip right there and maybe bring the point to the middle of the handle to where then the point isn't so close to the end of the handle. If it's more towards the middle, it's not going to be quite as noticeable. And then you could also maybe just kind of round it out a little more to where it's not quite that pointy shape. I think that would look better, and I think it would 100% feel better. Just my opinion, but yeah, it really kind of gets up and out there to where you do feel the end of that clip in your hand, and it doesn't feel great. But yeah, that's the one thing I would like to see changed on this, but I really, really love the handle shape in general. Like I said, fits great, feels great, looks great. The carbon fiber design, the design of the onlay for the carbon fiber, it's technically not an inlay because it's not within anything. It's just laid on and over the handle. It looks really good. It's really fresh. I can't remember seeing any knife design quite like this in terms of any type of added feature on top of titanium. I just think it looks really good. And yeah, really, really enjoying that. The fit and finish on the carbon fiber is fantastic. Love the little pop there from the, I believe that's copper. Looks like, I can't be brass. It looks a little too dark to be brass. So yeah, copper pivot ring, very, very nice. You kind of have your lanyard hole back here. So if you're a lanyard person, there you go. But yeah, really, really nice looking handle, and the design lines in general are just really, really good. Going into the action, like I said, the thumb studs obviously do have something to do with the action, but once you figure this knife out, it's not bad to deploy. It's not bad. You still have to constantly think about it, and there's still even times where I will go to flip this and I'll do that number because I'm just not, I get in a hurry and I just pull it out of my pocket and I go to kick it out and that happens. So that's kind of annoying. You really do have to make sure that your finger is down in there to easily flip that blade out. But the smoothness is very, very nice. Like very premium feel in terms of the drop shot action. And the deployment action is also a really nice detent, really crisp, nice sounding thwack. So it checks off all the boxes of what you look for in terms of good action on a knife once you get those thumb studs figured out. Because that really is kind of the wild card in all this. It's really the one catch. Some people are not. Some people are going to hate these thumb studs. Some people might think I'm making a little too big of a deal, but I really don't think I am. It definitely takes some getting used to. But I have gotten used to it, and overall, I do enjoy it. I think it could be made a lot better with different thumb studs or a thumb disc and a slight modification to the end of this clip down here. But overall, it's still a pretty solid knife. It really comes down to what you're willing to be okay with and what you're not okay with. So that's why I make videos to tell you my opinion, and then you can decide from there. But nice materials, great design. Overall, I would say a pretty solid offering from Kansept to start the year. And like I said before, I have another Kansept to bring to you guys later this week that is also new and also pretty good. So not a bad start to the year for Kansept. Guys, let me know what you think of the Kansept Weim. I really hope you enjoyed this one. Cannot wait to bring you guys content throughout the year. I got a lot planned for you. And until the next one, I'm out.